Hey guys, how you doing? Sucker Tribe here. I know it's been a while. I'm back. I've recently been sick, so as well as dealing with work, so just been busy pretty much. But in today's video, it's a little different. It's not a ranked match, but I wanted to talk about just the current state of the game and what my feelings are with it and my experience and where to go moving forward. I know a lot of you guys have already have the game. I don't think you'd be watching this if you didn't. And if you are watching this and you haven't purchased the game, I'd still recommend buying it. I think it's a great game. I think it's a great way to support the Dragon Ball IP, and I definitely recommend it to anybody who enjoys Xenoverse or who's played the previous Tenkaichi games. And wants something that's modern and has like Ultra Instinct Goku and all the super characters and whatnot. But yeah, the reason I'm making this video is because I've just been seeing the community give their thoughts of the game and the current state, and I feel like at this point it's more negative than positive. I know in the initial release, especially in the first week, there was a lot of hype surrounding it, rightly so. I mean, like the way they marketed the game was fantastic, from the videos that they release every month to just the little interviews that the producers gave. I remember for like the first year from it being announced, we didn't have any sort of news on it whatsoever, and a lot of people got tired of that. I was one of them, and so seeing them really push the game in the last like 6 to 8 months was a welcome surprise. But yeah, from the heavy marketing to just a lot of even non-Dragon Ball YouTubers or content creators or people coming in and saying, hey, like I'm looking forward to playing this game, really made it seem like this is something that's going to be next level, and I thought so too. And I didn't think that within the first month of the game being released that there would be so much negative, pushback surrounding it, which is kind of sad, because there was just a lot of high hopes for this game. I'm also a fan of Naruto, and so I played the Naruto Storm series, and with that, even when I got hyped for Naruto Storm 4, at that point, seeing the other previous games from Revolution to Storm 3, there was a certain expectation that came with it in terms of the quality. I know for me, I thought this is going to be just as fun as Budokai Tenkaichi 3 or Tenkaichi Tag Team, which was one of my Tenkaichi games. Although it is fun, I find myself a little bit more frustrated than anything. Just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I can't wrap my mind around the super counter mechanic. And you can call me trash for it. I don't really care. I don't understand why there's so many defensive options. I'm all for defensive options. I've played Fighter Z, and I know that game is offensive heavy, and so I was hoping, hey, there may be a little more, defensive options in this Dragon Ball game, but I feel like it's almost too much. You can counter everything. If you can time it right, you can banish everything. And then with the game obviously not being as balanced as a lot of people would hope, myself included, that just makes things worse. There are unblockables, and not everybody's going to be up to date on every unblockable in the game. And so if you find somebody online who has an unblockable, there's I'd say a decent chance that you may not even know it, and you get hit with it. And that could be the thing that makes or breaks the match, and just little stuff like that. And I don't know, man. It's been a lot, from the super counter to just feeling very awkward. I feel really awkward in the air when I fight. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. I didn't feel that way playing the Tenkaichi games. Everything felt really grounded, and it felt like the characters moved the way they're supposed to move. Dash didn't cost meter or skill points or whatever we call it. It felt like you can move up, down, left, or right in a circle while dashing, and it just felt smooth. In this game, the movements just feel so janky. And like I said, I don't know if that was the intention. I could see that. I saw that from the first trailer, from the first gameplay showcase. It looked janky, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they've gotten rid of that. That's like at the core of the game. I don't know if it can be fixed with a patch, but it just has me reminiscing of how the old Tenkaichi games used to play, and how just, I guess, solid everything was. I don't know if they used that as a baseline, or if they just took a lot of heavy inspiration from it to make this game. It's from the same company, Spike Chunsoft, and so I don't know where everything went wrong, but yeah, that's how I currently feel about just the mechanics and the way it plays. Like I said, I have issues with the super counter. That's not to say that there isn't, like I said, in the title, potential in the game. I mean, like the game looks amazing. Online is pretty good. I wish we could choose whether we want to fight somebody or not. But aside from that and a couple of other things I can't think of right now, online seems fine. I will say there's the whole, meta with DP or with multiple character battles where you have like your Dr. Wheelos and your Brolys and your Super Vegetos. And I've used Super Vegeto in ranked, but I try my best not to use After Image Strike just because I know how much of an unfair mechanic that can be. And like I said, I get it. They advertised it as being unbalanced, but when you have a game that has an online mode, people being competitive is just a natural part of that. I mean, you don't go online and play ranked if you're not gonna be competitive. And so I don't see why they couldn't have like had different conditions to where certain stuff or certain moves or certain skills are not allowed online, on ranked, for that very reason. I feel like player one versus player two, local match, like you could have had things be as unbalanced as possible. But in online ranked, we could have had it to where like, hey, After Image Strike is a banned move or a move that you're not allowed to use. Certain characters that have certain advantages, just because of the way they're built, you can't use an online ranked. You could limit Broly's Ki Blast spam. Offline he can spam indefinitely. Online he can only do it like for 1 to 2 seconds. Super counter, the timing and the window for it is a lot bigger in my case. Or just perception, the ability to use perception is a lot smaller, specifically in online ranked. And just stuff like that. And that's not to say that they can't add it later in the future, but as of right now, that just seems to be like the most glaring issues to me. Along with the story mode. I know a lot of people have said the story mode sucks. I agree. I remember the old Tenkaichi games and how the story mode was, and seeing it go from that in-game cutscenes to just a literal slideshow. Like I hate it when anime games do this because it seems so low effort, and some people might make the excuse, well, they put all their efforts into the game mechanics and how it plays. Well, the game plays like crap half the time, so it's like, well, where was all the effort going to? And I might be exaggerating slightly, but still, I feel like it just feels lazy with the story mode. That's really all I will say about it. It looks lazy. Game visually looks great. Story mode, the way it was made, feels lazy and undercooked. Mechanics janky and wonky and weird. Voice acting is great. Music, that's another thing. I was gonna make a whole video separately just for the music, but I'll add it in here. I feel like the music is very lackluster in this game. There are a few great tracks, but I feel like you could say that about literally any sort of album or soundtrack or whatever. Even from the worst type of games, there's always going to be 1 or 2 that aren't that bad, or 3 or 4, but overall, the soundtrack in this game pales in comparison to what Tenkaichi 3 or Tenkaichi 2 or Tenkaichi Tag Team or even Ultimate Tenkaichi had. This is coming from a guy who makes beats, not for a living yet, but who just makes beats daily. And I actively listen to the soundtracks, and I don't get the same energy, the same hype, the same excitement, the same rush that I do with Tenkaichi 3, Tag Team 2, and Ultimate Tenkaichi with their soundtracks. I understand in this game they wanted to focus more on Super, and I can see that in the soundtrack and just certain melodies and certain OSTs that play. But even with the battle themes, it feels like there's way more lighthearted battle themes than there are heavy rock and or battle themes, for lack of a better word. Excuse me. Like I said, still sick. And I can see that, and like I say, if they wanted to focus more on Super, I get that. But at the same time, I feel like if you're gonna make a fighting game and you're gonna make a Dragon Ball, a lot of the battle themes should be exciting and make you feel like, hey, I want to actually fight somebody, not feel awkward and out of place, and feel like this shouldn't belong in a battle theme between Broly and Super Saiyan Vegeta. I don't know. I feel like the tracks in this game, more often than not, take me out of, you know, the immersion into the Dragon Ball world more than put me in. And that's just very disappointing as someone who loves music and makes music. Um, I hope they can add the previous Tenkaichi game OST tracks in there, kind of like with the whole anime track list. I really hope they can. I don't know what the first DLC is going to look like. I already see them advertising DLC 2 before we even see all of what DLC 1 is going to have. I know we're getting Gamma 1 and 2. Hopefully they don't have a bunch of BS that makes the game even more broken. Otherwise, we're going to see a bunch of Gamma 1s and 2s running around on rank, cheesing everything they possibly can. And now that I'm talking about it, and I just realized this, like I feel like I'm talking about Xenoverse, which is kind of sad because like Xenoverse has a special place in my heart just because it's a game that's been around for almost 10 years, and I bought that game when it released, and so I've literally grown up with the game, and I played the first Xenoverse game, and I played the game before that, Battle of Z, so I see like where it's started, in terms of its origin to where it's at now, and it still has a lot of the same issues that it had when it initially released, and so that does have me a little worried for Sparking Zero because it's like they're trying to support this game that's almost at 10 years, but they won't fix some of the most glaring issues, nor will they release a trequel to it, which just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, and I don't want that for Sparking Zero. Like I said, I feel like this game has a lot of potential. This could be like one of the best Dragon Ball games to ever release ever, and I really felt like that was going to be the case when it initially released, but now I see that it still needs, to iron out some kinks, and maybe this is the start of a new series that will, by its third iteration, maybe, be the best Dragon Ball game to ever have been made. For all we know, this could be the new Budokai Tenkaichi 1, or Sparking 1, and hopefully that is the case. Hopefully 2-3 years from now we get another Sparking game that's, heavily improved and, on every aspect and every level, and maybe 2 or 3 years after that we get to the third one and like we're there. We're like, this is it. Like there's no issues. Everybody's hyped. The hype continues. 6 months later, everybody's still hyped. We're going crazy for the game, and it's just a good time. But yeah, those are my current thoughts on Sparking Zero. I'll probably check back in 3 months later from now just to see if anything's changed, what the DLC looks like, and if my thoughts have changed on it at all. But please let me know in the comments how you guys feel about the game and the current state of the online meta, and what you would like to see change, because I'd love to interact with you guys and hear your thoughts. And yeah, please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys around. Soccer Tribe out.